Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Prime Flash with me, Dolin Gonde, on the Anchor. We begin today's edition with this story where, for the first time in almost 2 months, Christians of the Presbyterian Church in Tamfuen, Bali, Mezam Division of the Northwest Region of Cameroon, have answered present to worship God after the gun incident, which took place on August 22, 2021, at the church's premises. The incident, which left the resident pastor, Reverend Voma Simon Mantor, severely wounded, and a female Christian, Margaret Tita Labit, dead, also sparked up reactions in and out of the country as bullets raided the church premises during the heart of service. During the October 10th, 2021 First Sunday service, a cross-section of the congregation hosted the faithfuls. And on to this human interest story, let's talk something of human interest rather, where the medical officials in Yaoundé have finally conducted an autopsy on the corpse of the 22-year-old man, Hilaire Ayisi, who died in the Yaoundé Central Hospital, with the family raising alarm by accusing health personnel for mutilating the body parts of their son while extracting some of his vital body organs. However, results of the autopsy reveal all his body organs are intact, and this was after the intervention of the Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manawuda Malachi, who ordered for investigations into the matter. In the same light, we talk a 22-year-old student of the University of Marua who has been found dead in the Mayo Kaleo River in the far north region of the country. After prolonged hours of searching the corpse of Kennedy Sadi, he was finally retrieved thanks to the collaboration of the rescue soldiers and the local population. The rescue soldiers have also warned the population from approaching the deadly river after they had been alerted by a 15-year-old that they had witnessed this guy drown in the water. The retrieved corpse was handed to the boy's family for burial. And on to this story, a young entrepreneur, journalist, and peace crusader, Swebo Tria, has been made Ambassador for Peace and Nation Building. He was made Ambassador for Peace by the youth parliamentarians at the 4th legislature, represented at the National Assembly. Lasha Kingsley has the details in the following report.
He is an economic operator, journalist, peace crusader, and multi-international award winner. Swebo Tria Lebo has once again the honor. He was made Ambassador for Peace and Nation Building by the youth parliamentarians of the 4th legislature, represented at the National Assembly.
I was recognized as an Ambassador for Peace and Nation Building by the entire 120 young parliamentarians who are in the parliament of Cameroon, in the capital city of Yaoundé. So this is just to recognize the generational transition that was being announced by the head of state, asking you to join hands for us together to build our nation, which is Cameroon.
The young economic operator calls on his compatriots to be solution providers and not problems.
I am calling for other youths like me to follow the footsteps and also try to be solutions to their different countries and not instead but problems. So you can see that while working in Cameroon, we can get solutions for our country. We can get economic solutions, we can get social solutions, we can get political solutions for the stability of our country. So all we have to do is to go to work. We have to work, we work harder, then build our nation, empower the youth, and then the world will talk about us. And this is just what I am going through these past days.
The young Cameroon economic operator has made a name on the international scene after his gold category in 2018 in quality management in Frankfurt, Germany. Triya Swebu Lebo has over the years allowed his country, Cameroon, to be known at the international scene. Winner of the International Star Quality Award, the founder of Asset Management and Service Group is amongst one of the best African entrepreneurs in the quality management excellence. Swebu Triya Lebo, born in 1980 in Babawan village in the Ngok-Kitunja division of the Northwest region of Cameroon, has been managing his own companies for 13 years. He read business communications at ISMA and currently holds an MBA in leadership and sustainability in business from the University of Cumbria in Britain.
That was Lasha Kingsley on that report. We now talk something else, where yesterday, October 11th, was commemorated worldwide as the International Day of the Girl Child, set aside by the United Nations to amplify the voices of young girls in the world at large. And this year's edition is commemorated, or has been commemorated, under the theme Digital Generation, Poor Generation. Fon Quinta tells us more how the day was commemorated worldwide in the following report.
Limited educational opportunities, insufficient access to sanitation, gender-based violence and discrimination are just few out of many challenges faced by girls in society.
They'll pay you fees. They'll send you to one of the most expensive schools, but they'll not have time to talk to you. And they'll not have time to explain to you why is it important for you to, why are you going to school, why education is important and all those things. So it's at the level of a conversation, explaining to me orientation. That's one of the difficulties I had as a young girl.
Being a girl child, I faced some certain challenges like stereotype, sexual harassment, and also this also caused me to lose my morale sometimes. Like I feel like maybe I'm not supposed to do this because I'm a girl child.
To change these narratives, the International Day of the Girl Child is observed annually on the 11th day of October, set aside by the United Nations to urge the global community and both in gender equality impact. Commemorated this year under the theme Digital Generation, Our Generation, with the United Nations urging the world to bridge the gender digital divide that exists in diverse keys, many have the opinion that it is very timely.
No girl should be left behind in the digital diktat. It is a matter of survival for her and for society as a whole. Indeed, digital technology offers the jobs of tomorrow, and also the best paid jobs and real places of power. Women and girls cannot be left out of this important opportunity.
The theme of this year International Day of the Girl Child, which is Digital Generation, Our Generation. I think this theme is very, very timely because the generation now is going very digital, and also the girl child needs to step up and own a space.
Detailing the significance of the International Day of the Girl Child 2021, the United Nations said in an official statement, it is an inequality and exclusion gap across geographies and generations that is a challenge to address if the digital revolution is to be for all, with all, by all. This said, many hope the core objective of making girls an active part of the progress of the world would be achieved.
Still in line with empowering women, we now talk a one-day sustainability training workshop for internally displaced women in Buea that has been organized by the non-governmental organization Light Outreach Foundation International, a Bamenda-based non-governmental organization where Eileen Sama took interest and reports in the following compilation.
The IDP women gathered from the nooks and crannies of Buea, chief town of the Southwest region, were drilled on sustainability development by the members of the Light Outreach Foundation International, the LOFI, at the one-day event held in Munya. The women obtained skills on the production of soap, Vaseline, Omo, amongst others. The CEO of the NGO, LOFI, Pastor Thomas Akosa, challenged the women who were made vulnerable by the ongoing Anglophone crisis to believe in themselves, acquire the necessary skills from the workshop, and empower themselves relentlessly amid their challenges. The administrator and facilitator at the workshop, Teke Colby, who did an elaborate presentation on business startup, shared the dream of Light Outreach Foundation International.
LOFI as an organization wants to give these women, the IDPs, the young girls that have come here, want to give them hope. And the kind of hope we want to give them is that we have to train them. It does not end there. We are going to give them support systems and support finances that they are going to start up small businesses. This is going to go a long way to build their social standing. So we want to say they should keep abreast what they have learned. They should take it very seriously, study it well, because at the end of this project, they are going to write down business plans of which the first 20 are going to be selected and then sponsor fully.
Representing the Minister of Social Affairs at the event was the Inspector Number 2 at the Ministry of Social Affairs, Madame Maureen Defoe.
I think I will go back with a positive note from my reports. I will tell the minister that LOFI is really doing a wonderful job. They are our partners. We will always work with NGOs because the government cannot do everything alone. And working with vulnerable women, which constitute one of our target population, and even taking care of orphans, they are also our target population. We are very happy for all what they are doing to help us accompany the mission assigned to the Ministry of Social Affairs, the head of state.
This participant was grateful to LOFI for the amazing experience.
I've really learned a lot, and I'm very impressed with the teaching. From the making of the savon, I've gathered so many things to take back home. I learned how to make the savon, how to gather, how I can do the savon to supply. From there I can get my own ending.
It is worth mentioning that LOFI, a not-for-profit making organization, has so far empowered about 2,000 women across the national territory, not limiting their support to IDPs, but widows, orphans, and the most vulnerable of our society.
That was Eileen Sama. We stay in the Southwest region, where the Senior Divisional Officer for FACO Division of the Southwest region has warned all organizers of a planned strike action scheduled to begin today, October 12th through the 14th. In a correspondence addressed to the General Manager of the Cameroon Development Corporation, CDC, Botalimbe, Mr. Ngamba Emmanuel Ledos says should the strike action hold and record excesses, violence, or expression of pro-terrorist conduct, all organizers and participants shall be held responsible. Nonetheless, the SDO has further urged the CDC General Manager to dialogue with the disgruntled workers for serenity to reign. We now talk sports, where Cameroon beats Mozambique to top the Group D of the 2021 World Cup qualifiers. The 68th minute goal over Morocco from Cameroonian defender Michael Ngandou at the Tanga Stadium takes the indomitable Lions to 9 points in her run at the 2021 FIFA World Cup qualifier, while drawing her closer to another participation at the biggest world football tournament. Cameroon humbled the OS members of Mozambique 1-0 yesterday in the round 4 game of the Group D's. And still in sports, we talk the Slovakian cyclist Lukas Kubis, who wins the yellow jersey for the 2021 Chantabia International Cycling Tour in Cameroon. The race ended with 3 accident victims, a Cameroonian and 2 Ivorians, who were immediately rushed to the Yaoundé Emergency Center. The Slovakian dominated the race with a total chronometer of 17 hours, 34 minutes, 33 seconds rather, while the second runner-ups came slightly below the win margin. Away from Cameroon, let's move into the African continent to talk where the head of a Nigerian Quran school has been sanctioned and suspended after a video was widely shared showing students getting brutally punished. One clip shows 4 young men severely beating a young woman with stick-like objects on the accounts of bad behavior. Both the male and female students had been accused of drinking alcohol, but they denied the allegations, saying they instead consumed yogurt at a birthday party. On their part, the school defended that the beatings were approved by their parents. And still around Africa, let's now talk about the 34-year-old, or it's 34 years since the death of the shocking killing of the Burkina Faso's one-time president Thomas Sankara, and 14 men are going on trial accused of complicity in the murder of the great statesman. The charismatic Pan-Africanist was shot dead at the age of 37 by soldiers during a coup at the October Kampala come to power. And it should be noted that 4 years previously, the pair had staged to take over power from the current president. Meanwhile, in Mozambique, a rebel leader has been killed and following the intense gun battle with government troops in his forest hideout central Sofala province. Mariano Nongo, who led the Romano military of the junta, was killed along with a close associate of his. Nongo had broken away from Romano, rejecting a peace deal it had signed with President Filipe Nyusi in 2019 to end the conflict. On Peace Day, October 4th, Mr. Nyusi said that troops had reached Ngoyo's base and President still urged him to surrender with no compliance on his part. We now take you to Ethiopia, where rebels say the army has launched coordinated attacks on all fronts against forces from the northern Tigray region. They say the government was using artillery, tanks, jets and drones in an attempt to reinvade the region. So far, the Ethiopian government has not confirmed any fighting, and a communications blackout makes independent verification possible. And from a global perspective, North Korea's leader has vowed to build an invincible military in the face of hostile policies from the United States. Kim Jong-un added that weapons development for self-defense and not to start a war. Mr. Kim made the comments at a rare defense exhibition while flanked by a variety of missiles North Korea has recently tested, when it claims to be new hypersonic and anti-aircraft missiles. Meanwhile, in the U.S., Texas Governor Greg Abbott has banned mandatory vaccination in his state. In an executive order, Greg bans all entities, including private companies, from enforcing vaccination in Texas. Mr. Abbott, a Republican, has been one of the most vocal U.S. leaders opposed to making the coronavirus vaccine mandatory. He has made similar edicts since the start of the pandemic, but this is the first to include private employees and their customers. And before we leave you, let's go to Afghanistan, where an Afghan interpreter who helped rescue the Senator Joe Biden from the harsh Afghanistan countryside, who too had been involved in an attack during the crisis there. In 2008, a Blizzard Force of a military helicopter carrying Mr. Joe Biden and other U.S. lawmakers to land in a snowy valley where they were vulnerable to ambush had been on attack. And Amak Khalili was among the Afghan employees of the U.S. government that drove the group to safety. With that, we've come to the end of Prime Flash, and the program was produced by Ewan Nolinga. I have been Dolly Gonde for presentation. Up next is In the House with Eileen Sama.